Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome all guests to Excel for the annual meeting of the Council. It is lovely to see many of you in person. Members unable to join us physically at this location are able to join remotely. However, they will not be able to vote, and their attendance won't be officially recorded, although their virtual attendance will be noted in the minutes. I would like to welcome the members of the public and press who are physically attending or watching on YouTube. With regards to the meeting etiquette, members of the council, please, can I ask that you indicate that you wish to speak by raising your physical hand or by using the hand up symbol on the Zoom dashboard. Please, can everyone physically present to continue to wear their face mask until they are invited to speak. After you have finished speaking, please replace your mask. If you are invited to speak, please use the microphone, if one has been provided, or walk to the nearest microphone stand on your left or right side. Please, can I ask members and officers to introduce themselves when speaking, not to touch the microphone, but to stand close talking to it. Be mindful of social distance requirement during and after the meeting, and also to scan the location QR codes for track and trace. Toilets are located on this level in the foyer area behind the stage. The venue has no alarm test scheduled this evening, so in the event of an alarm going off, please stay calm and await further instructions from the team and security. 5 evacuation points are located around the room via the side doors. The assembly point is located at the east of the building in the car park. There are no scheduled fire alarm tests. If an alarm does sound, fire exits are clearly marked. I would like to ask that everyone turns their mobile phones to silent mode, please. Now, before I ask our chief executive to start formal proceedings with the election of the new chair, many of you will know I will not be seeking re-election as chair of council. Also, Councillor Nazir Ahmed will not be seeking re-election as deputy chair of council. So I'm just going to say a lot of thank yous because I've been a chair of council for 7 years. I think it's a record. Don't you think so? I'm proud to have been chair of Newham Council since 2014 to date. That's 7 years. Even though I was the first black-faced citizen of Newham Council in 2003 to 2004, that was only for 1 year. The 7 years of being chair of council has been a very interesting journey and a worthwhile one, but not without its ups and downs. When I suffered a stroke in 2017, I thought that was the end of my political career. But with a lot of support, I managed to overcome it and recovered. Thank God. I stood for the election in 2018 with the help of my friends and became chair of council till today. Due to COVID-19, I had to do another extra year, but the time has come to hand over to a new chair. When I mention about support, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm grateful to both the previous and the present mayors, the past and present chief executives in Newham for their support during these 7 years. I'm also grateful to the past and present deputy mayors, past and present directors, and past and present cabinet members. My gratitude also goes to the past and present mayoral support officers, chief executive office, communication, other social care team, and IT officers. I didn't think after my stroke I'd be able to function effectively, but the support from my previous and present council colleagues, I managed to do it with a few hitches here and there, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic. I was always privileged to represent Newham whenever I was invited to other boroughs with utmost dignity and professionalism. I would like to express my gratitude to the member support officers who were very patient with me. The monitoring officer, Daniel Fennick, has had to put up with me for the past 7 years. And of course, Joy George and Shelley Fortune, who have been supportive and very kind to me. I also like to offer my gratitude to Colin Sweeney and Adrian May and Lukman Desire for their guidance. I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to Margaret Zincraft, who has been my peer and confidant since 2003. I don't know how I'm going to cope without her support, and above all, her professionalism. And of course, helping me to reduce sugar in my coffee to 1. There are a number of previous and present councillors who, without their support, I won't be where I am today. I owe them a lot for being good friends, confidants, mentors, and above all, kind to me and my family, especially in the difficult times I had to endure. I say thank you. To the rest of the present councillors and officers who I've worked with, I say thank you for your support and being patient with me. I would like to give thanks to my Deputy Chair, Councillor Nazir Ahmed, who has been a fantastic Deputy Chair and very supportive to me. To the new Chair and Deputy Chair, I wish you all the best in the coming year. I'm sure you will enjoy your new important and prestigious roles. I'd like to thank my husband, Dr. Laguda, my children, my in-laws, and my grandchildren, who have encouraged, supported, and put up with me while I've been chair of council for these 7 years and as a councillor for 23 years. Finally, I would like to thank the residents of Newham for their kind support over the years. The people of Newham make this Para the most amazing place to live, work, and stay. God bless you all, and God bless Newham and the residents who we are here all to serve. Thank you very much. Sorry, I thought I'd finished. I'm in a hurry, aren't I? Now I ask the Chief Executive, Althea Lodrick, to start the formal business of the meeting by seeking nominations for the election of the Chair of Council for the 2021-2022 municipal year.
Thank you, Chair. Before moving to the formal business of the Chair of Council nominations and appointment, I would like to take this opportunity to wish you well and thank you for your time as our Chair since June 2014. You have chaired over 40 meetings of Council since being elected and seen the preparation which is needed. I believe only those who have sat in this chair can fully appreciate the responsibility it brings and how sometimes challenging as well as rewarding it can be. Most recently, you've steered us as a council through the move to virtual council meetings, ensuring openness and transparency of council business on a regular basis so that residents can view their elected members and their democracy working throughout these challenging times. If I may say, and I know members will agree, you have always performed the role with the utmost dignity and respect. And this includes not only at formal council meetings, but in your wider role when attending civic functions and events as Chair of Council over the years and representing Council and the Chair at numerous high-profile events. Finally, on a personal note, I would like to thank you for making me feel so comfortable and welcome here at Newham. Joy, Council has got a small token of our appreciation, which we're just going to place on your seat. Sorry, I'd love to give it to you and I'd love to give you a hug, but we can't do that. So thank you again for your work and time at Newham Council. I now move to the agenda for this evening's meeting and to item 1, election of chair. I invite nominations for the office of Chair of Council for the 2021-2022 municipal year.
Good evening, members. Madam Mayor, council officers, members of the press and the public, and those who have joined us on Zoom and YouTube. May I first thank Councillor Joy Laguda as the chair of the council, who held this position, as she mentioned, for over 7 years, a record on its own. And wish her all the very best, to her and her family during this difficult hours we are all facing with COVID. But I'm sure Joy will see us through. Joy, also known as Auntie Joy, has carried out her duties with pride and joy and honor. So we thank you, Joy, for this. We are electing a new chair and vice chair of council, and I'm honored to nominate Councillor Winston Vaughan as the chair of council. Winston brings with him a vast amount of experience and knowledge, and I'm sure he will carry out his role to uphold and promote the constitution of the council. Winston was elected to council in 1998, the same year as I was elected, and becoming not just councillors, but family friends along the way. Winston represented what was then Newtown Ward and now represents the current ward, Forest Gate South. During his councilship, he has held a number of positions: chair of Labour Group, chair and vice chair of Investment Pensions Committee. He was also a member of the Local Authority Pension Fund Forum and held the position as vice chair. Winston undertakes his responsibility with the discipline required as a member of the Overland Scrutiny Committee and has chaired various commissions with his experience. His experience further enabled Winston to serve on the North East London Health and Adult Social Care Commission, a body set up to scrutinise the NHS in North East London, and then as the Commission's vice chair and chair. Winston's passion for trade union led him to be appointed onto the government's employment tribunal panel as a lay member for 13 years. He served as a branch officer, assistant branch officer, vice chair, and treasurer, notably helping the union create an ethnic minority advisory committee and then becoming its first vice chair and thereafter the chair for 4 years, along with chairing the annual conference. Winston has been a Labour Party member for over 30 years, where he has served as chair for the ward for 14 years, before stepping aside in 2019 to accommodate gender parity in offices, which I feel is a great sacrifice in the day we are living today, to allow gender not being biased against us. His experience enabled him to be the CLP delegate, which also saw him becoming once again the chair of the committee for 3 years, and at times the position of treasurer and the ethnic minority officer on a number of occasions. In his role as chair, I'm sure he will reach out and engage with all the communities as one Newham, attending a street party during the Queen's Jubilee, and now duties as the chair. Finally, to sum up, what will Winston bring to the role of chair? A wealth of experience and knowledge suitable to this role, discipline, keeping the agenda and it being adhered to, and enable the meeting to run smoothly, keeping an eye on the time. Fairness, by being fair to all the members, allow them to be participants, not just spectators. May I, on behalf of all of us, congratulate Winston, Shirley, and all the family and friends. I move Winston Vaughan be elected chair for the municipal year 2021 to 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Joy Laguda for your years of service keeping us in check. I'm looking forward to hearing your valued contributions from the backbenches, and I wish you well in your future endeavours. I am formally seconding the nomination of Councillor Winston Vaughan as Chair of Council for the 2021-22 municipal year. Councillor Singh Verdi has covered much of Councillor Vaughan's rich contribution over the years, but I just wanted to add a few personal thoughts of the grandfather of the chamber. I'm sure you will all agree that Councillor Vaughan is very much the shy, retiring type, and that he rarely has anything to contribute to debates, either here or in another place, and that us nominating him for this position is in no way a ploy to stifle him or to give more time for ourselves to speak. All jokes aside, I always look forward to hearing what Councillor Vaughan has to say, as he speaks a lot of sense and always delivers it in a sage and statesmanlike manner. I personally will miss his contributions, but I know that he will not only undertake his new role with vigour, but he will also be firm but fair. I always very appreciate what Councillor Vaughan has to say, and he imparts vast wisdom whenever we speak. A prime example of this is when I called Councillor Vaughan with regards to the recent referendum. Although we were on opposite sides of the debate, we still managed to have a frank and honest conversation for over an hour, where we put the world to rights, and I almost came away wondering if I was on the right side. When I first became a councillor in 2010 in Stratford and Newtown ward, Councillor Vaughan was one of the first to share his knowledge of what it takes to be a councillor, and passed on useful hints and tips with regards to the Newtown part, with him being formerly of that parish. Now, more than ever, the Chair of Council is such a pivotal role, being the first citizen of the borough, and I am sure that Councillor Vaughan will carry it out with aplomb. On Councillor Vaughan receiving the nomination for Chair of Council, he promised that he will try to do his best, and of that I have no doubt at all. It's truly an honour to formally second Councillor Vaughan's nomination for Chair of Council for the municipal year 2021-22.
Are there any further nominations? Is it agreed that Councillor Winston Vaughan is elected Chair of Council of the London Borough of Newham for the 2021-2022 municipal year? You can show hands or say it. Thank you. I declare that Councillor Winston Vaughan is hereby elected Chair of Council of the London Borough of Newham for the 2021-2022 municipal year. Can I ask Councillor Vaughan to come up to the lectern to read and sign the acceptance of office?
Good evening. I, Councillor Winston Theodore Vaughan, having been elected to the office of Chair of Council, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfill the duties according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Vaughan. Councillor
I
Vaughan.
want to thank members of this local authority and just want to say a few words. But before I do, I want to thank members for electing me as chair of this authority for the coming municipal year 21 to 22. And I also want to thank Avinda for proposing me and Charlene, who has seconded. I didn't really realize how much I meant to this local authority, but thank you very much. And hopefully you will support me throughout the coming year. Before I proceed, I want to say a few words about the outgoing chair, Councillor Joy Luguda, MBE. But I want to talk about Joy as the person and as a friend. But before I do this, I want to take a step back to 1998, when I first met Joy, Tony McAlmont, Umesh Desai, Councillor Havinda Verdi, who were part of the newly elected cohort of new councillors. The leadership at that time was by leader of the council. The referendum of 2000 set to determine how the council was to be governed in the future. The electorate voted to adopt an executive mayor module that came into operation after the 2002 council election. This resulted in the creation of the civic ambassador role that would undertake the civil responsibilities on behalf of the borough and would also chair of council of meetings. In 2003, Joy became the second civic ambassador of the borough. As one of the speakers at her inauguration, I said these words, and I hope that you would forgive me for repeating them here. I said then, I am of the firm opinion that electing Councillor Luguda, Council has made an excellent choice in choosing her as a civic ambassador, and that she will carry out her responsibilities with charm, dignity, and honor. In her 7 years as chair of council, as you heard today, these characteristics have shone through. But she has other characteristics. One of these are her caring nature. Many residents in the borough and elected members would confide in her for her guidance and knowledge. She is also a source of comfort for many within the borough and beyond. Quite recently, the borough has experienced a number of tragedies through violent acts where families have lost loved ones. She would seek out the bereaved to offer her support to these families for as long as it required. She has also done an immense job in her role as chair of council and for its residents. Joy is a mother, grandmother, wife, a confidant to many, and she's someone that I can call a friend. The reverse role of this new position is yet to be defined. But to follow in her footsteps, it will be a hard act to follow. However, I pledge that I will carry out this role to the best of my ability. I want to thank my family, my wife and daughter who are sitting behind, who are here today, for the support they have given me throughout the years that I have been a member of this local authority. Thank you very much indeed. It's a self-help job, you see. Item 2 on the agenda, election of deputy chair. I should now like to invite nominations for the office of deputy chair of the council for the 2021-2022 municipal year. Councillor Lee Wilson to move.
Can you hear me? Yes? Sorry, well, I've got my hearing aids. I'm getting better feedback. I'm very delighted to nominate Mumtaz Khan to be the Deputy Chair of Council for the forthcoming municipal year 2021-22. She was first elected to this council in May 2018, so compared with some of us who have been around a few years, she's a relatively new person to this scene. But I have been impressed in that time with the advocacy of women's rights and ensuring that this council has a firm position of making misogyny a hate crime. For those who know Mumtaz away from being a councillor, she is a founder director and vice president of the British Bangladeshi Chamber of Women's Entrepreneurs. She has a wealth of knowledge and a whole range of experience in health and children's social care. She is a well-known TV broadcaster as well in her own right, as well as a tremendous comprehensive knowledge of how to deal with the media. She was awarded a civic award by a neighbouring borough of Tower Hamlets way back in 2015, and that was about the empowerment of women. It gives me great pleasure that I can talk about her philanthropic work for the British Bangladesh Women's Forum. And this new civic role that she's embarking on, representing the council at events and deputising for the first citizen of the London Borough of Newham, Councillor Winston Vaughan, I'm sure she will bring her expertise and experience of how we can do the very best for the diverse borough that we are in terms of our civic function, our ceremonial function, and the relevant external bodies to which a council I've been proud to be a member of for several years, where we are fully engaged with our civic pride, our civic responsibility, our ceremonial duties, but also the way that we can show diversity and equality and continuing to challenge what is sometimes some very difficult political forces that work against some of our agendas. She has the relevant experience. She's promoting the public involvement in this council already. I know that through the feedback I've had from various people, not just in casework, not just in terms of where she's been in terms of one of our group officers in terms of women's rights, but promoting a participatory democracy that this council is now leading on. And I wish her all the best. The Constitution says, Councillor Winston Vaughan, Chair of Council, that you are the conscience of the council. I'm sure you'll be ably assisted in that role by having another conscience, and thereby I'm pleased to be nominating Councillor Mumtaz Khan as the Deputy Chair of this council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Do we have a seconder for Mumtaz's nomination? Charlie Lee Pathway to move.
Thank you, Chair. I would firstly like to thank Councillor Joe Laguda for all your hard work that you've done for us, the residents of Newham. Councillor Winston, you have very much big shoes to follow. I would like to second Councillor Mumtaz Khan for the position of Deputy Chair of the London Borough of Newham. Councillor Khan will be a vibrant and capable Deputy Chair. Councillor Khan has a rich and varied history, notably the fantastic work that she does with children and young people. Her commitment to our young people here in Newham is honourable. As the Deputy First Citizen, I'm sure that we as a borough will be truly blessed by the selfless and dedicated service that I'm sure Councillor Khan will bring to the role. Thank you.
Are there any further nominations for this position? No? Okay. Is it agreed that Councillor Mumtaz Khan be elected Deputy Chair of Council for the London Borough of Newham for the 2021-2022 municipal year. Great. I declare that Councillor Montes Khan is hereby elected Deputy Chair of Council for the London Borough of Newham for the 2021-2022 municipal year. Can I ask Councillor Khan to come to the lectern to read and sign the acceptance of office? Councillor.
I, Councillor Mumtaz Khan, having been elected to the office of Deputy Chair of Council, hereby declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfill the duties according to the best of my judgment and ability. I'd like to first of all thank Councillor Neil Wilson for nominating me and also saying some lovely words about me. I'm feeling quite emotional. I'd like to also thank Councillor Carleen Lee Parkway for seconding the nomination. Thank you, Carleen, for the lovely words. I think there's a lot that I want to say about Councillor Joy Laguda. I do feel that we have a very big competition, Councillor Winston. I would like to thank my colleagues for having faith in me to serve Newham Council as its Deputy Chair. Councillor Joy Laguda for her dedication, for her commitment, and the tremendous work she has carried out as a Chair of Council. Thank you so much for all your hard work. I think it's going to be missed very much, but we will continue to work as a team. I wish to also thank Councillor Nazir Ahmed, who has worked alongside Councillor Laguda in his position as a Deputy Chair. His passion, his commitment, and hard work will not be forgotten. I'm proud to be here and to take on the role of Deputy Chair. I look forward to working with you all and doing great things together to serve and improve the lives of the people of this great borough. I wish to thank you all for supporting me. Sorry, not used to this.
Can we now move to item 3 on your agenda pack, apologies for absence. I have received apologies for absence for this evening's meeting from Councillors Lofthouse, Ahmed, Murphy, Siddiqui, Clark, Dawood, Pepiat, Bailey, Salim Patel, Sasha Dasgupta, Kitchen, Maz Patel, Councillor Beckles, Brayshaw, Tamina Rahman, Sarah Ruiz, Admut, Beleni, and Tripp. Also added to that list is Councillor Tony Wilson. Are there any other apologies of absence from councillors to be recorded at this meeting? No? Moving on to item 4 on the agenda. Are there any members wishing to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests or personal or prejudicial interests that may have in any matter which is to be considered at this meeting? Item 5, minutes of the last meeting. I move as a correct record the minutes of the last ordinary meeting of the council held on the 19th of April 2021. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Mutias. Councillor Mutias, second. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Item 6, announcements by the chair. I have no announcements this evening at this meeting. Item 7, announcements of the mayor. Can I ask the mayor if she has any announcement, please?
Thank you very much, Chair. I'd like to make the following announcements. So I just wanted to confirm this evening that the executive arrangements that are presently in place remain as is for the municipal year 2020 to 2022. Sorry, let me start again. The executive arrangements as is will continue for the municipal year 2021 to 2022 until further notice. And also wanted to confirm that there will be no changes to the schemes of delegations as they presently stand. So just for clarity, the delegated authority of the executive mayor powers are delegated to the entirety of cabinet, and we are a collective decision-making body. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Item number 8, any announcements by the chief executive? Can I call the chief executive? Sorry, can I ask the chief executive if she has any announcement, please?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to announce the results of the by-election in the East Ham Central Ward of the Borough held on the 6th of May 2021. The results were as follows. Lois Austin, Trade Unionist and Socialist Coalition, 91, 2%. Edward Lucian Komaromi, Liberal Democrats, 239, 6%. SK Zakir Hossain, Conservative Party, 1,288, 30%. Paul Martin Jobson, Christian People's Alliance, 115, 3%. Daniel Keeling, Green Party, 283, 7%. Farah Nazir, Labour and Cooperative Party, 2,297, 53%. Farah Nazir was duly elected a councillor for the East Ham Central Ward of the Borough of Newham and has since made a statutory declaration of acceptance of office. Councillor Nazir has also given notice that she wishes to be treated as a member of the Labour Group for the purposes of the Local Government and Housing Act 1989. The notice was countersigned by the Deputy Chief Whip of the Labour Group, Councillor Jane Lofthouse. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed. Could we now move to item 9 on the agenda? Chair of Standard Advisory Committee Annual Update. As detailed in the agenda papers for tonight, I move that this item stand deferred to the future council meeting, which will also receive the annual report from the audit committee. Do we have a seconder, please? Councilman Diaz, second. Thank you very much indeed. Is this agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 10. Overview and Scrutiny Committee Annual Report. Can I call upon Councillor Anthony McAlmont as Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee to present the committee's annual report? You have up to 5 minutes, please. Councillor McAlmont.
Councillor Vaughan, permit me to congratulate you on your elevation to high office. I remember you and I being elected to council on the same day for the same ward. Since then, we've worked closely together, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much indeed.
At this stage, I would also like to thank one of our outgoing scrutiny chair, Councillor John Whitworth, for the work that he has done as a member of the scrutiny team. His was a reasoned voice, and he brought balance to the scrutiny team. Thank you, Councillor Whitworth, for your participation and involvement in the scrutiny team. And my thanks goes to Councillor Joy Laguda without saying. Yeah. Mr. Chair, participatory democracy is predicated, amongst other things, on robust separation of power. When a healthy separation of power is strongly embedded in local governance structure, practices, and ethos of local government, those in power will have properly placed residents at the heart of decision-making. In Newham, we have embraced democratic participatory representation, and with it, the separations of power. Having just agreed an executive mayoral model through our recent referendum, we can continue to be proud of the successes Overview and Scrutiny has had as a conduit for the voice of residents, articulated through non-executive councillors serving on scrutiny commissions. Together, they act in concert as a collective check and balance on the executive power. The executive and scrutiny complement each other to form cornerstones of the fabric of our local democracy. I can without hesitation say that democracy in Newham is strong. Mr. Chair, beside calling the executive, both internal as well as council partners to scrutiny meetings, it is, however, through in-depth scrutiny reviews and the recommendations contained in final reports produced through the work of councillors participating in these reviews that scrutiny can have real impact. The annual report contained in this council's agenda describe a wide range of reports, all submitted to the executive, all of which have had cumulative impact in the wider work of the council as it continues to do its utmost to deliver for the residents of Newham. The global pandemic places a pause on some of the work of the scrutiny commissions, while scarce council resource were, as a collective, directed to combating it. In addition, of note in the context of the pandemic is that scrutiny adopted a nimble and agile approach in scrutinizing issues of importance to Newham residents. One such is the rapid establishment of the COVID-19 Commission, Its work, together with that of other commissions, is reported in the annual report. An innovative milestone is the increased use of external expertise on Scrutiny Commission, known as co-optees. This is demonstrated through the statutory co-optees who have contributed to our work. Also, independent co-optees have contributed to the work of the Budget Working Party. In this regard, Sandra Bade, or SIPFA, brought an unprecedented level of insight, expertise, and rigor to our work, and as such, is a model scrutiny that we will now build upon and roll out. I would like to thank all the chairs of the Scrutiny Commission for the leadership role they have played in their commissions, as well as all councillors who have actively participated in the work of the Scrutiny Commissions. During the last 2 years, the commissions have amassed a significant body of evidence across a wide range of themes, all translated into impactful recommendations for the executive to consider. None of this would have been possible without the active participation of Newham's mayor and our cabinet, for which I express my sincere gratitude. I also wish to express my deep thanks to the witnesses who came from all walks of life. These include individuals, voluntary groups, charities, and nonprofit organizations, as well as council partners, all of whom participated in the work of the Scrutiny Commissions. It is their voices, often marginalized in wider society, which scrutiny in particular amplifies through its work. I commend this annual report to Council.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Thank you very much indeed. Would you like to speak? Okay. I have to say that's Councillor Aisha Chowdhury who has seconded the motion. We now move to the debate. Does any member wish to speak? Oh, this is going too quietly. Right. Given the fact that no one wants to speak, Councillor McAlmont, you have the right of reply. I don't see what you're going to reply to. Thank you very much indeed. We will now move to the vote. Only for those members of council physically present at this meeting location is the recommendation to note the report. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. That is carried. Next, item 11, scrutiny executive working protocol. I move that this item stand deferred to a future council meeting to allow members more time to consider it. Do I have a seconder, please? Thank you very much, Councillor Khan. Is this agreed? Thank you. Item number 12, review of the allocation of seats on committees, appointments and other matters. Please note a supplementary paper has been published online and distributed to members of council, which details the nominations for the council's various committees and boards. I move the recommendations in the report with the following amendment: that the membership of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee remain at 11, plus the addition of 3 independent co-optees, and not reduced to 9 as stated in recommendation 2.1 brackets 2 to the report. Do we have a seconder to this? Thank you, Councillor Khan. We now move to the debate. Does any member wish to speak? I am really surprised. Nobody wants to speak this evening, do they? Right. We now, did I say that? Did I say move to debate? Yes, okay. We now move to the vote. Only those members of council physically present at this meeting location. Is this recommendation to note the report agreed? Thank you very much indeed. That is carried. Item 13. I move the recommendation in report. Sorry, that is calendar of meetings 2021 to 2022. I move the recommendation that report. Do I have a seconder, please? Thank you very much again, Councillor Khan. We now move to the debate. Does any member wish to speak? Well, given the fact that we have repeated the previous recommendation, we will now move to the vote. Only for those members of council physically present at this meeting location. Is this recommendation to note the report agreed? That is carried. Thank you very much indeed. Item 14. I call upon the Mayor, Roxana Fiaz, to address the council at this time.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I must say your first foray into chairing full council has been a relatively peaceful event so far. And it just reminds me of my first annual council meeting with the diligence that Councillor Joy Laguda provided to contain the noise and the eruption that ensued, which I still recall vividly to this day. There were some 400 members of the public waiting patiently for members to come to the main hall at Stratford Town Hall. And there was this incessant replay of Justin Timberlake's I Have the Feeling, or a title of that effect. And you managed to calm and corral everyone into order. So I wanted to use that as a segue into conveying my deep appreciation and thanks to Councillor Joy Laguda for your dedication to the role of Chair of Council over these past several years, and especially to the kindness, love and wisdom and support that you've provided me as the Mayor. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome and congratulate Councillor Winston Bourne. We've already had a meeting and I've offered him my absolute support in his role, which he will be occupying in the spirit of the delegation of authority that I have transferred from the function and role of Mayor, whereby now the Chair of full council becomes the first citizen of this borough, and I'm very much looking forward to collaboratively supporting him in this new role. And it's also a first for Councillor Mumtaz Khan in her role as Deputy Chair of Council, and I commend all the warm words that were conveyed and expressed by Councillor Neil Wilson, an absolute testament to your drive and your focus on equality and rights and justice. And I know that the both of you as a team will make us proud as you represent this great borough that we love. So I want to say a few words, and I'm going to end with a video. And I'm really pleased to be standing here 3 years on to just discuss the priorities that we will be focusing on this coming year and building upon what we've achieved so far. And as all of you will know, 3 years ago this month, both myself and you as elected representatives here this evening at Excel and those joining us via Zoom stood on a manifesto programme of transformation and change. Also on the promise of transparency, openness and rebuilding trust with our people here in Newham. I became mayor because I am ambitious for the borough I grew up in, the people in my community, and the place I call home and love. I also became mayor to deliver change, to be bold, and to take action to improve people's lives. People voted for a different kind of council, one that would stand with them and speak out for them. They wanted to see real change on the big issues affecting their lives, such as having decent homes, opportunities, access to jobs, real jobs, and for a positive future for themselves and their young loved ones. So firstly, I want to say thank you to all councillors for being committed to that task, and especially thank you to members of my cabinet and executive, past and present, for being part of that mission. Since being elected, all of us collectively have worked really hard to deliver on these promises. And in 3 short and fast-paced years, we have achieved so much, as well as dealing with a global pandemic. In the first year, we put down new foundations to reset what we stood for as a council, taking action from day one to clean up the council, make improvements in its governance arrangements because our residents had been let down. We got cracking and started our promise for genuinely affordable homes, meeting and surpassing the goal of over 1,000 started in this first term. We listened to the concerns about rising numbers of people sleeping rough and responded by working to reduce this, expanding support to keep people safely housed, especially during COVID-19. Earlier this year, the Cabinet Member for Adult Social Care, Councillor Zulfikar Ali, updated me that there had been a 91% fall in those sleeping rough in Newham, the biggest improvement of any local authority in England. My thanks to him and the rough sleeping team here at the council for this life-changing work. After decades of underfunding, we began the biggest investment of some £19 million in our youth services, the biggest investment in a generation, to double our youth hubs and hugely expand our team of youth workers. We created a youth safety board and established a dedicated unique directorate, Brighter Futures, to drive this work forward in partnership with our young people. A total of £43 million is being invested in this vital, important work. And we prioritised the necessary investments to improve our children's services, which every child deserves, particularly those most in need. We set in place a solid framework to shape our local economy for the benefit of everyone through our community wealth building agenda, using every lever at our disposal to achieve a more inclusive economy. This has ranged from forging partnerships through our new business charter to resetting the values through which we spend our own money. We have actively intervened to encourage better quality jobs, apprenticeships, and training opportunities, achieving important landmarks such as becoming a London living wage borough, working with the unions and business alike. We are driving forward the serious work to make our borough a healthier place to live, including through our Healthy School Streets programme, which is already resulting in significant reduction in toxic emissions that really hurts our children. We've put climate emergency and our declaration into action, establishing a task force and instigating council-wide steps to improve and green our local areas, and to encourage people to live and travel more sustainably. And we listened when people said that trust in the council had to be rebuilt. I made it my mission to clean up our practices, and we have transformed how we work, root and branch, to be truly accountable, transparent, and open. We took on board the advice of an independent control commissioner and bodies such as CITFA to put us on a sound footing. We have set our finances in order with an initial 3-year financial plan to ensure that every penny counts and works in the best way for our people, our residents. That including saving the council £143 million in interest payments from the rip-off Lobo loans taken on the big banks. Many said that that could not be done, but we did it. We kept our promise to extend democracy and give residents a greater say on decisions that affect them through local community forums and citizen assemblies. We set in stone the principles of co-production and co-design, taking crucial decisions together, such as the future of the Carpenters estate. I also kept my promise to hold a referendum on how our borough is governed, offering a clear choice between the mayoral model and a committee model, two very distinct systems. Voters chose to keep the mayoral model, and this result and the positive discussions we had during the campaign is a signal that we are on the right track. From the start, I made the culture of this mayoralty one of openness and inclusion, devolving my powers to the executive and extending our vision for participatory democracy. Our unique democratic mayoral model is therefore absolutely central to delivering change. And of course, the last year has seen us support and stand with people throughout the entirety of the COVID-19 pandemic, where we really stepped up at an unprecedented pace. I am so proud of how all of us, officers at the council, councillors, mobilised the whole borough, working closely, diligently, safely with our community and our partners. We stepped up to protect the vulnerable and isolated, ensuring that they had food and vital resources. There was the amazing work with volunteers and community groups, which created brilliant initiatives such as the New and Food Alliance. Hundreds and hundreds of council staff, our team here at the council, provided lifelines like our befriending service, helping those that were isolated. We established the COVID-19 Health Champions Network and embedded our 50 steps to a healthier Newham. We saw how inequalities and particularly racism played a part in worsening the health impact of COVID-19. So in the midst of all of this, we took heed from the Black Lives Matter movement, establishing a dedicated programme to address race inequality, both internally as a council and through the broader policies that will help transform the experience of residents in this community that are being exploited and marginalised because of the colour of their skin. And that work will go on. We were at the forefront of innovative policies, including being the first local authority to support residents needing to isolate in difficult conditions through our offer of hotel accommodation. I know colleagues here understand what we did because we have constantly kept you updated and informed, as well as involved every single step of the way, from tracking the 30,000 food parcels to the 130,000 residents and rising who have had their vaccine so far. Importantly, we learned from what came to light since March 2020 and developed through that learning our recovery strategy towards a better Newham as the bedrock of what we will be doing in the coming months and years ahead. For our next steps, we want nothing less than a fundamental shift, continuing to address those issues our residents really care about. I have talked to people over the past year who are struggling and have suffered job and pay losses. We face an epidemic of insecurity, so we will work with businesses and partners, with our communities, to harness everything we can to deliver better jobs and training and a more inclusive economy. And of course, we will continue to press the government for the fair deal that Newham deserves. Over the next year, our ambitious goals for housing delivery will be a cornerstone. Already, we're investing over £1 billion to ensure thousands more homes and provide a crucial driver for our local economy. The housing delivery strategy sets out a 4-year plan. It will further protect and improve the rights of private renters through a dedicated service. We also declared this year the Year of the Young Person to make clear our commitment to continue the considerable work done to support our young people and ensure that they flourish and thrive. Enshrined in our COVID-19 recovery strategy, we will continue to invest in their futures and in them through building up our youth zones and resourcing the work of the Youth Safety Board and enabling them to dream big through the £1 million Youth Empowerment Fund. We are acutely aware of the need to protect every young person. Following the tragic events in the past few weeks, which saw 2 young people's lives cut short. We will work with the police, our partners, across the community, and with our young people to tackle weapon-based crimes and violence, as well as tackling antisocial behaviour through a community safety strategy that will reassure. We have challenged the police to increase their positive presence on the streets, and we will reassert our total commitment to involving young people and the community in improving youth safety. All of you will know and will have experienced how tough COVID-19 has been. It has deepened poverty, which is blighting many lives. We will continue to put considerable resources into addressing this, including support for those struggling to put food on the table, through our plans to tackle food insecurity. This includes my guarantee to fund a universal, nutritious, free school meal for every child in primary school through Eat for Free. While we all look beyond this phase of the pandemic, we know now that it's currently not over, which means that we need to continue to accelerate our vital public health work. Among many plans, we will be developing a new model of integrated care for mental health, which will improve access to mental health support by providing care closer to home. Our outdoor spaces have been lifelines for residents, and so we will continue to invest to green and improve local neighbourhoods, including some £1 million per year from our capital programme for council tenants to improve their estates. We will continue developing our town centre strategies for more accessible streets, improving the public realm, as well as ensuring that we're improving the infrastructure. And we will continue policies to encourage healthy and sustainable travel. We hear residents' concern over the need to clean up our streets, and so we will be stepping up the battle against fly tipping and antisocial scourge. Our teams will continue to respond quickly to create better streets for Newham, and coupled with this, our expanded recycling and waste services will roll out this year. And all of this links to our ongoing plans to tackle climate emergency and improve air quality. We listen to the people's concerns about pollution, and we will continue to expand the Healthy School Streets programme for more children to benefit from cleaner air. And we will further amplify people's voice and influence through establishing our first permanent citizen assembly. This is a first anywhere in the country. As part of our people power extension of local democracy, 2 assemblies will meet in this coming municipal year to deliberate on topics chosen by residents. This pioneering work will be a key feature of how we shape our plans. Local neighbourhoods will determine how to spend money locally, with some £100,000 per area. And this is participatory budget in action. Despite everything that I have said, and despite all the achievements we have made in 3 short years, I know that we remain faced with serious challenges. And I am confident, as the last year has shown, as the last 3 years has shown, that together we can meet those challenges because we are Newham. And at this point, I will end by showing you a short video now. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mayor. Thank you. Agenda item 15, appointments. Forgive me. Please note, a supplementary paper has been published online and distributed to members of council, which details the appointments made by the mayor to outside bodies. Are there any appointments been made by the mayor which he wishes to announce at this time?
No further announcements pertaining to appointments, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any announcements which the group wish to propose? Thank you very much indeed. I think there's nothing to vote on in that case, right? So I would not announce anything about voting on this item. Thank you very much indeed. Well, that brings us to the end of the agenda items. And before we close this meeting, I want to give thanks to all of you who have attended this evening to make it what I would say is a very quiet and peaceful affair. And I hope that this is not the storm, not the quiet before the storm. I also want to thank the mayor, chief executive, officers, and the array of technicians that we have at the back there to ensure that the broadcast has been successful. And also to thank the teas and coffees over there and all those who prepared them. Once again, I thank you very much. I now declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much for attending and those who are watching. Please may I remind you to maintain social distancing requirement, and I wish you a safe and journey home. Have a splendid evening, and thank you very much indeed.